I wish I could cut it off. The humiliation is too much, Zara whispered in tears. Dinma rushed over and held her. Don't ever say that again. Do you know how many women pray to have a daughter like you? Do you know how many times I went to the shrine and fasted for a child before God brought you to me? Madam, your baby is fine. But did you say you ate giraffe meat before delivery? Amara nodded shyly. Yes, the neck is from me. She's a strong girl. Everyone in the village of Umugo knew Amara as the woman who loved food. Not just ordinary food. Her cravings were special, strange, and sometimes very expensive. Amara was a young woman, beautiful and lively. Her husband, Okeke, was a hunter, a very strong and respected man in the village. They had been married for 2 years before the good news came. Amara was finally pregnant. Oh, from the first month of her pregnancy, Amara's cravings began like wildfire. Okeke, I want roasted rabbit meat, she shouted one early morning, holding her big belly and rolling on the floor like a child. Okeke, without question, rushed into the bush with his hunting tools and came back that evening with 2 fat rabbits. Amara smiled like a queen and devoured the meat before even greeting him. The next week, darling, I want fresh monkey pepper soup. Not too spicy, just the way Mama used to make it. Monkey again? Okeke asked. But his wife was already wiping imaginary tears from her eyes. Do you want our baby to come out with no eyes? That's what they say happens when a pregnant woman's cravings are denied. Okeke didn't want that kind of story, so he wore his hunting boots again and disappeared into the forest. The villagers soon started calling Okeke the running hunter because he was always in a hurry, chasing one strange animal after the other to feed his wife's cravings. Month after month, Amara ate everything: antelope, bush pig, porcupine, squirrel, grass cutter, and even pangolin. If it lived in the bush, Amara wanted to eat it. Sometimes she didn't even wait for the meat to cool before tearing into it like a lioness. The village women laughed behind her back. This one is eating like she's feeding twins, triplets, and a football team inside her womb. But Amara didn't care. Her only concern was that her stomach was happy. Okeke, on the other hand, was growing lean. Hunting every day, spending money on other hunters, buying spices and firewood for Amara's never-ending meals. It was a lot. Still, he loved his wife deeply and wanted the best for her and the baby. Finally, it was the 9th month. Amara's belly looked like a big calabash, ready to burst any moment. Everyone expected that by now she would stop craving strange things. But one early morning, just 3 days to her due date, Amara woke up and screamed, "Okeke!" Okeke ran inside holding his cutlass. What is it? Is it time? Is the baby coming? No, but something else is coming, Amara said, licking her lips. What is coming? I want giraffe meat. Silence. Giraffe meat? Yes, grilled giraffe meat, with a goosey soup and pounded yam. Amara, giraffes are not even common in this part of the forest. Even if I find one, bringing it down is not easy. Do you want me to die in the bush? Amara folded her arms and squeezed her face like a stubborn child. Then let me die first. Let the baby come out with 1 eye and 3 legs. You don't care about me or our baby. She lay on the ground, kicking and crying loudly. Okeke scratched his head in confusion. The next thing, she refused to eat, drink, or even talk. She's using hunger strike to kill me, Okeke shouted in frustration. But the matter was serious. The village elders came to beg Amara. The women tried to talk to her. She only repeated one sentence: giraffe meat or no peace. Okeke knew he had no choice. He called 4 of his hunter friends and told them, "Please help me find giraffe anywhere in the deep forest. My wife is ready to bring down the roof." After 2 days of searching, chasing, and sweating, they found one tall giraffe drinking water by a quiet stream. It wasn't easy, but they managed to bring the animal down and carry the meat back to the village. When Amara saw the giraffe meat, she danced with joy. Big belly and all, she sang loudly while the women helped her cook. Egusi soup bubbling in the pot, pounded yam ready. Giraffe meat, you will not escape me today. The whole house smelled like paradise. Amara sat on a big chair like a queen with a mountain of pounded yam in front of her and steaming egusi soup filled with soft giraffe meat. She ate and ate and ate some more. The plate was shaking. "Madam, take it easy," one woman warned. "Leave her," Okeki said. "Let her enjoy the giraffe she nearly killed us over." Amara finished everything and licked her fingers. Then she smiled and said, "Now I can give birth in peace." 2 days later, it was time. "Labor, labor, the baby is coming." The women ran in with wrappers. The traditional midwife arrived. Okeki was pacing up and down like a madman. Amara was screaming and pushing. And finally, the baby arrived. A girl, a healthy girl, or so everyone thought. But then the midwife looked closely and gasped, what is this?" Everyone gathered around. The baby had a long neck. Not just long, very long, like something you only see in the zoo, like a giraffe. One woman whispered, "Maybe it's the giraffe meat she ate." Another said, "Ha! This child will need special wrapper. Normal baby cloth will not reach that neck." Okeki nearly fainted. Amara sat up, sweating and smiling. "Is she beautiful?" The women didn't know what to say. The baby was healthy, strong, and beautiful. But that neck. Whoever came to greet them at the house stood in shock, mouth wide open. Some people from the other village thought it was a joke. Others took small steps backward. "Madam, your baby is fine. But did you say you ate giraffe meat before delivery?" Amara nodded proudly. "Yes, the neck is from me. She's a strong girl." But deep inside, Amara began to wonder. Was this her doing? Had her cravings gone too far? Even the baby's first cries sounded like a baby giraffe calling for its mother. She was named Kamzi. Kamzi was now 1 month old. Even at that young age, her neck was already growing longer and longer. Amara felt like the ground should open and swallow her. Her husband, the hunter, tried to stay strong. He still loved the baby and believed she was a blessing. But Amara, she had made up her mind. She wanted the baby gone. One day she looked at baby Kamzi sleeping peacefully and hissed, "You brought shame into my life. You turned me into a joke. No one sees me anymore. They only see your long neck." That night, Amara did not sleep. She lay awake on her mat, her eyes wide open, waiting. As soon as Okeki left for hunting early the next morning, Amara stood up quietly. She wrapped Kamzi in a thick cloth and tied her on her back. She didn't take any bag, didn't tell anyone where she was going. She just walked. She walked far, deep into the bush. The air was cool, the leaves were wet with morning dew, birds were chirping, and small monkeys jumped from tree to tree. But Amara didn't stop. She looked left, looked right. No one was around. Then she saw a thick tree by a small footpath and stopped. She untied the cloth, looked at her daughter one last time and whispered, "You will thank me one day." She laid the baby under the tree, covered her with a wrapper so wild animals wouldn't see her easily, and ran back home. When she reached the village, she dropped to the ground and began to scream, "Help! My baby! My baby is gone!" People ran to her hut. "What happened?" She screamed louder. "I went outside to fetch water, and before I came back, my baby was gone." "Kidnappers!" someone shouted. "This is wickedness," another said. Amara rolled on the ground and cried crocodile tears, but deep inside, her heart was calm. No more shame, no more long neck, no more mockery. When Okeki came back from the forest and heard the story, he dropped his hunting bag and shouted, "My baby! My daughter! Who took her?" He cried, ran around the village, asked everyone, but no one knew anything. No one saw Amara leaving that morning. No one knew what she had done. But far away, deep in the bush, little Kamzi was still there. Her cloth was dusty, her small hands waving, her soft voice crying weakly, "Wah! Wah! Wah!" Her neck tilted to the side. She was tired, hungry, cold. Then suddenly, someone came. It was a woman walking with a sack of cassava on her head. Her feet were dusty, her wrapper was faded, her eyes looked tired. Her name was Dinma. She lived in a small, lonely hut far from the village, near the hills. She had no husband, no children. She was called the barren woman. Dinma had suffered for many years. People mocked her too. "You don't know the pain of childbirth," they used to tell her. But she had a kind heart. That morning, Dinma was walking back from her small farm when she heard something. "Wah! Wah!" She stopped and listened. Is that a baby? She dropped the cassava sack and ran toward the sound. There, beside a tree, she saw the baby, small, helpless, crying softly. She gasped. Who left a child here? She bent down quickly and picked her up. Then she saw it, the long neck. She didn't scream, she didn't drop the baby. She only stared for a moment, then hugged the baby tightly. Oh my God, who could do this to a child? She called out, Hello? Is anybody here? Silence. She looked around, but no one was near. Only trees, only silence. Then she looked down at the baby. The baby looked back at her and gave a small, tired smile. That was the moment Dinma's heart melted. I don't care what you look like, you are mine now. She used part of her wrapper to tie Kamsi on her back and carried her all the way home. When Dinma reached her small compound, she cleaned the baby, fed her with pap, and wrapped her in warm cloth. You are beautiful, she said. I don't care what anyone says. She didn't know the child's name, so she whispered, I will call you Chizaram. It means God answered me. That night, Dinma couldn't sleep. She just stared at the baby beside her, touching her tiny hands, watching her chest rise and fall. But deep in her heart, she was worried. Who left this child in the bush? Will they come back looking for her? She had no answers, but one thing was sure. She was not going to let go of the baby. Dinma named the baby Chizaram, but she always called her Zara for short. And that was the name the little girl grew up with. Zara grew fast. Her body looked like every other child's. Except for one thing, her neck. It was long, too long for a child. As she got older, the neck got longer. Some people said it looked like a rope. Others said she looked like a giraffe. But Dinma didn't care. She took care of Zara like her own daughter. She called her my sunshine, my miracle, and my answered prayer. God gave you to me, she would always say. And Zara, she didn't call Dinma auntie or madam, she called her mama. When Zara turned 6, Dinma took her to the village primary school. She dressed her in a clean uniform and tied her hair nicely. Zara was happy, but her first day in school turned into a sad day. As soon as she entered the class, one boy shouted, Ha! See, giraffe. Another girl covered her mouth and giggled, Why is her neck taller than the blackboard? The whole class laughed and laughed. Zara stood quietly. Her eyes became red. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She went back home crying. Mama, I don't want to go to school again. They are laughing at me. Dinma hugged her. Zara, don't mind them. You are special. One day they will stop laughing. But it didn't stop. In school, during playtime, no one wanted to play with her. They would say, Go and play with trees. They are your neckmates. Sometimes they threw paper at her back. Zara tried to smile. She tried to be strong. But when she came back home, she always cried in Dinma's arms. And Dinma would wipe her tears and say, Zara, you are beautiful. Never forget that. Zara grew older. By the time she was 17, she had grown into a very fine girl. Her skin was smooth, her eyes were bright, her voice was calm. But still, her long neck remained. Even when she tied scarf, it didn't hide it. People in the village gave her a name. They called her the girl who sees tomorrow. Ah, with that kind of neck, she can see what's happening in the next village. Maybe she talks to the sky. People laughed. Even at the stream, when girls came to fetch water, they pointed at her and giggled behind her back. She should just join giraffes in the forest. Zara always walked quickly past them, head down, fighting her tears. But there was one person who didn't laugh. His name was Obiora, the most handsome and richest gold seller in the whole village. He was tall, fair, and always well-dressed. His gold chains shined in the sun. And every girl in the village dreamed of being his wife. Whenever Obiora passed Zara on the road, he would smile gently and greet her. Hello, Zara. Zara would nod quickly and walk faster. Sometimes she thought, why is he greeting me? He should be laughing like the others. But Obiora didn't stop. Every week he would send foodstuff to Dinma's house. Rice, beans, yams, even milk and soap. Mama, who gave us these things? Zara asked one day. Dinma smiled. Obiora, he likes you. Zara turned away. I don't want him. He's only pitying me. Zara, Dinma said, not everyone sees you the way others do. That boy is different. Zara looked at the floor. But Mama, look at me. Look at my neck. No man wants a girl like me. Dinmah held her hand. Don't say that. You are worthy of love. You are beautiful. Even if your neck reaches the sky, you are still the child I prayed for. But Zara didn't believe it. She was afraid. She felt inferior. One afternoon, when the sun was hot and Zara was helping Dinmah peel cassava, they heard loud voices. 3 young women were walking into their compound. Zara recognized the first one immediately. Chisom, Obiora's girlfriend. The one all the girls in the village feared. Chisom was tall, bold, and full of pride. Her friends followed her like bodyguards. As they entered, Chisom clapped her hands and shouted, "So this is where the giraffe lives." Zara froze. Chisom looked at her from head to toe and hissed, "You think because Obiora gave you some rice, you are now his wife, eh?" One of her friends laughed and added, "With that long neck, she will finish all his food before marriage." Another said, "She should go and marry Giraffe in the forest." Zara's eyes filled with tears. "Mama, please tell them to leave," she whispered. But Chisom turned to Dinmah. "Old woman, you better warn your giraffe daughter to leave my man alone." Dinmah stood up slowly, calmly. She was poor, her clothes were old, but her voice was strong. "My daughter did nothing wrong," she said. "Obiora came to us. We did not beg him." Chisom laughed harshly. "Of course he came. Maybe he likes zoo animals. And you? You should go and adopt Monkey next." Zara burst into tears. "Please go," she cried, "please." Chisom threw her hands up and turned to leave. But as they walked out of the compound, her voice echoed, "Stay away from my man, giraffe girl, or next time I will come with cane." When they left, Zara ran inside and slammed the door. Dinmah followed her and sat beside her on the mat. She said nothing at first, then she reached out and touched Zara's hand. "My daughter, don't let people's words become your mirror. You are fearfully and wonderfully made." Zara cried and whispered, "Mama, I didn't ask to be like this. Why didn't my real mother want me? Why did she throw me away? Maybe she was right." Dinmah's heart broke, but she kept her calm. "No, my child, your real mother lost a diamond and didn't know. Let the world laugh today, but one day they will see who you really are." Hours later, Zara still sat on the bamboo mat inside the small mud house, her face soaked with tears. She hugged her knees tightly and buried her face in them, shaking gently as she cried. "Mama, why did they say those things? Why? What did I do wrong?" Dinmah sat beside her, her eyes filled with sorrow. She wrapped her arms around the only child she had ever called her own. "My child, the world can be very cruel to people they don't understand," Dinmah whispered, "but don't let their laughter become your shame." Zara sniffled. Her nose was blocked and her eyes swollen from crying. "They called me Giraffe. They said I should go marry an animal, even Obiora's girlfriend. She insulted you, Mama." Dinmah smiled gently and wiped Zara's cheeks. "Let them say what they want. What God has made beautiful, no mouth can spoil. You are my jewel." But Zara couldn't smile. Her heart was too heavy. She stood up slowly and walked to the corner of the room where an old mirror hung. She stared at her reflection for a long time. Her neck truly was long, longer than anyone else's in the whole village. She turned left and right, tilted her head up and down, but no matter what she did, the neck was still there, long, straight, and unmissable. "I wish I could cut it off," she whispered. Dinmah rushed over and held her. "Don't ever say that again. Do you know how many women pray to have a daughter like you? Do you know how many times I went to the shrine and fasted for a child before God brought you to me?" Zara looked at her. "You really don't care about my neck." Dinmah laughed, holding her chin. "I care about your heart, not your neck. And if people say your neck is long, tell them it's long enough to reach heaven and hear God faster." Zara giggled just a little. For the first time that day, a weak smile appeared on her face. The next day, rumors spread all over the village. Obiora's girlfriend went to fight the giraffe girl. They said she's using her long neck to collect blessings before others. Dinmah's daughter is now causing village problems. Zara avoided the market square. She didn't go to the stream. She stayed indoors all day, pretending to pound yam for no one or sweeping the same spot over and over. But Obiora didn't stop sending foodstuff. In fact, he increased it. 2 yams became 5. 1 cup of rice became a full bag. He even sent fresh palm oil, gari, and a small bottle of perfume. Dinma's eyes widened as she received the items. "Zara, this boy is serious. He even sent 2 wrappers for me." But Zara refused to come out of the room. "I don't want anything from him." Dinma sighed. "My daughter, how long will you punish yourself? Can't you see this boy sees more than your neck?" But Zara shook her head. "I'm not like the girls he should marry. I'm just a joke to the whole village." That evening, while Dinma was in the backyard washing bitter leaf, Zara heard a gentle knock on the door. Knock, knock. She tiptoed to the curtain and peeped. It was Obiora. She gasped and ran to the inner room. "Mama," she called out in whispers. "Mama, he's here." Dinma rushed in, her hands still wet. "Who?" "Obiora." Dinma smiled widely. "Eh? Let me go and greet him like a proper mother-in-law." "Mama, please don't embarrass me." But it was too late. Dinma wiped her hands on her wrapper and opened the door. "Obiora, welcome, my son," she said, smiling brightly. He bowed slightly. "Good evening, Ma." Zara stood behind the curtain, heart racing. "I brought this for you," Obiora said, handing over a small woven basket. Inside was a roasted chicken, some ripe plantains, and a packet of chin-chin. Dinma was shocked. "What? God will bless you, my son. Thank you." He looked around. "Is Zara home?" Zara froze. Dinma looked back. "She's inside, but she's shy." Obiora smiled. "I understand. Tell her I just came to greet her. No pressure. I'll go now." As he walked away, Dinma shut the door and turned to Zara. "Did you see that? A fine boy like that. Rich, gentle, respectful. He came just to say hello." Zara sat down, biting her lip. "He will get tired one day. He will leave." Dinma frowned. "Maybe, but not because of your neck. Don't push away people who care, Zara. Life is too short." A few days later, things took another turn. Zara was helping Mama wash clothes at the stream when Chizom and her 2 loud friends walked in again. They dropped their buckets and started whispering loudly. One of them said, "See the neck that caught a rich man." Chizom walked closer. "You still don't have shame, after everything I said." Zara stood up. "I didn't beg him for anything." "But you took the food, you took the gifts, you and your hungry mother." Zara's heart sank. She clenched her fists. "Don't talk about my mother like that." Chizom laughed. "Or what? Will you hit me with your long neck?" Her friends burst into laughter. "Look, giraffe girl," Chizom said, stepping even closer. "Stay away from Obiora, or next time it won't be words I'll bring." Zara's eyes filled with tears again. She grabbed the wet clothes and ran off. The villagers around the stream all stared in silence. No one said a word. Some pitied her, some whispered. But none helped. When she got home, she dropped the clothes and cried out, "I didn't ask for this neck. I didn't ask for this life." Dinma came running and hugged her again. Zara sobbed. "I don't want Obiora. I don't want his gifts. I just want peace. I want to be normal." Dinma held her tightly and whispered, "Maybe you were not born to be normal, Zara. Maybe you were born to be extraordinary." Zara blinked. "What do you mean?" But Dinma just smiled. "One day you'll see." After many talks and gentle encouragement, Dinma was finally able to convince Zara. "My daughter," she said one evening as they sat by the fire, "you deserve to be loved. Obiora loves you, long neck or not. Don't let your fears stop you from being happy." Zara looked at her mama with teary eyes and nodded slowly. "I will marry him," she whispered. Dinma screamed in joy and danced around. "God, thank you. My daughter will wear a wedding attire." The wedding was like nothing the village had ever seen before. People came from far and near. Even villagers from other towns traveled to see it. Some climbed trees to get a better view. Some mothers lifted their children on their shoulders. Obiora's compound was decorated with beautiful cloths, flowers, and golden ribbons. There were big pots of rice, pounded yam, egusi soup, jollof, and bushmeat. But it was Zara that stole the show. She stepped out wearing a white flowing gown, with her long neck fully adorned with rows and rows of pure gold necklaces. From the top of her neck to the base, shiny gold covered her like a royal queen. She walked gently, slowly, and gracefully, like a cat on a red carpet. "Ah, is this not the same girl we used to laugh at?" someone asked. "See her neck. Even queens in the faraway city don't shine like this." People were amazed. Some couldn't close their mouths. Others whispered in regret. Zara didn't mind them. She smiled softly, knowing that the people who once mocked her now wanted to be like her. But she stayed calm and humble. She didn't show off. She didn't talk too much. She just smiled and held Obiora's hand. After the wedding, Zara moved into their mansion. The house was the biggest in the village. It had tiles, big chairs, a sparkling clean kitchen, and a tap that brought clean water. Something most villagers had never seen. People now wanted to be friends with her. Girls who once laughed at her now smiled fake smiles and waved from a distance. But Zara had only two real friends: Dinma, her mother, and Obiora, her husband. And that was enough for her. Then something strange happened. After a few months, the skies stopped giving rain. The farms dried up. The rivers shrank and disappeared. The animals in the forest ran away. No more grass to eat. Famine came upon the land. People cried. There was no food, no water. Their crops refused to grow. Even rich families started selling their goats to survive. But in Obiora's house, things were different. They had food, they had clean water, they had plenty of yam, rice, and meat. Obiora had stored enough food in his warehouse, and he dug a deep well in his compound that never dried. Every day people came to their gate with empty bowls. "Please, give us small food. My children have not eaten since yesterday. Help us, Zara." And Zara helped. She and Dinma packed food and shared water for many villagers. Some people came with shame on their faces because they had once mocked her. Zara gave them food anyway. She had a kind heart. One afternoon, an old, tired man arrived at their gate. His clothes were torn and his legs were dusty. His eyes were weak and he looked like he had not eaten for days. It was Okeki the hunter, Zara's real father. He didn't recognize her. He didn't know that the girl standing behind the gate, dressed in clean clothes, with a long neck and gold necklaces, was his own daughter. He bowed his head and spoke with a cracked voice. "Please, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since morning, and I need water to take home." Zara didn't say much. She turned and called Dinma. "Mama, give him food and water. Let him rest." Dinma brought rice, meat, and a cup of water. She gave it to him with a smile. Okeke sat on the ground and ate slowly. As he ate, he kept looking at Zara. "Such beauty. Her long neck is so beautiful," he whispered to himself. "This one is a queen. She looks like what my daughter could have been. If only." He closed his eyes in pain, remembering the daughter he lost so long ago. After eating, he stood and bowed again, carrying his keg of water home. "Thank you. May God bless you all." He left, still thinking of Zara's beauty, still unaware that she was his blood. From that day, Okeki never stopped thinking about her. Each time he went to the forest and passed the road near Obiora's mansion, he paused and stared at the gate, hoping to see her again. "If only I had my daughter," he kept thinking, "she would have been this beautiful." But he did not know that his daughter, the one he thought was lost forever, was already standing behind that very gate. Zara, too, didn't know the man she had fed was her real father, the same man who had once cried when he thought his baby was stolen. Meanwhile, Chizome and her friends, the same girls who mocked Zara before, came to beg for food, too. They came with shame. They covered their faces with wrappers. Zara stood calmly, looking at them from the balcony. She said nothing. Dinma handed them food. They took it quietly and left. They tried to smile and wave, but Zara only nodded. They were embarrassed. They now wished to be friends with Zara, but it was too late. Their fake smiles were not enough to erase the pain they once caused. Now they saw her beauty. Now they wanted her friendship. But Zara was no longer that weak girl who cried at the stream. She was Zara. the golden-necked queen of the village. Did you enjoy this story? Do we continue it? Please don't forget to tell us where you are watching from. Thank you so much for watching. If you're eager to see how this story unfolds, please subscribe and let us know in the comments below. Type continue to see episode 2. Your feedback will help shape future videos on this channel.